Shawon Kinew is a member of the Ojibways of Onagaming First Nation in the Treaty 3 Anishinaabe Nation. She's an assistant professor in the Department of History of Art and Architecture at Harvard University and a Schutzer Assistant Professor at the Radcliffe Institute for Advanced Study. Professor Kinew.
Miigwech, Bujun Dinwe Meganituk, Shoni Bena Sik Nidijnikaz, Bujun Nido Tem, Ojibways of Onigaming Nidonji, Anishinaabe, Ojibwe Nindao. So hello everyone, my name is Shawon Kinew, and as Joe introduced me, I'm an assistant professor here at Harvard. I'm also a member of the Lynx clan and a member of the Ojibways of Onigaming First Nation. I first want to say miigwech to the Massachusetts and also to my Wampanoag and Nipmuc relatives, all of whom are central to Harvard's history. 9 years ago, I was sitting where you are sitting. 9 years ago, I sat at one of the banquet tables at the HUNAP graduation at the Sheraton Commander, where we would no doubt be were it not for this pandemic. 9 years ago, I was sitting at one of these tables with my late father, Tabasanakwit Iban, my mom, my brother, and my best friend. I was 4 years into a Harvard PhD program at that time, and I didn't expect to take the master's degree or to walk, as we say here. I didn't expect to do this before my PhD. I was in the first year of dissertation research. I was what they call ABD, all but dissertation. But 2 months earlier, while I was starting that research in Rome, I learned my dad was not long for this world. His cancer, which had been diagnosed while I was in coursework 2 years prior, had come back and it had spread. Realistically, we didn't know how long we had left together as a family. 6 weeks, maybe 6 months. A year we knew was probably too much to ask for. And we had already been through it as a family at this point. This realization turned my world upside down. After leaving home at 18 to go to college and living away ever since, I moved back to my childhood home, back to Winnipeg. And I did this to be with my dad in those final months. My dad and I used to stay up late, just him and me, around the dinner table, as late as I could make it because he couldn't sleep because of the chemo. He said it made him feel rangy, which I assume an old man means hyperactive. He asked me one of those nights if I thought I could speed through writing my dissertation in a matter of months so that he could see me get my PhD. I thought about all the work, all the research, all the writing I still had to do to earn my PhD. It wouldn't be possible. I was just at the beginning. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to have a PhD. I wasn't ready to be a professor. I wasn't ready to publish. I wasn't ready to participate in my field as an expert. I wasn't ready to take my place in the academy. But I decided to fill out the paperwork and get the master's degree at Harvard that I had technically earned 2 years before. And I decided to walk. I decided to rent the regalia, to wear the HUNAP stole that I hope all of you are wearing tonight, and to sit in Tercentenary Theater, which I still cannot pronounce, in the yard, and to participate in the commencement exercises. We decided as a family to gamble and buy plane tickets. Maybe my dad would be well enough to make it. Maybe he would still be here. That graduation was uncomfortable for me. To participate in the fanfare, to march in the procession that takes place in the morning typically, to wear the regalia. It was earlier than I expected to do all of these things. And I think some of my professors who had bid me farewell just a few months earlier were surprised to see me back on campus so soon. Who am I to do this? I thought, this isn't my graduation. But it had always been my dad's dream to go to Harvard. My dad, Tabasanakwit Iban, was a residential school survivor. He entered St. Mary's Indian Residential School in Kenora in Northwestern Ontario on June 12, 1943 at age 7, where he was baptized, given a new name, Peter Kelly, and a number 275. Ndete Iban, my dad, told me the first book he read in school was ironically Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist, a story about an orphan in a workhouse, a survivor of a brutal system that abused children. He said he read it when he was too young to do it, but he devoured it anyway. He said he wasn't really educated at residential school, no guidance, no instruction. He was just given a stack of books, sink or swim. When he reached the end of residential school, there was nothing at first. Kenora was too racist of a town to continue the education of an Indian boy beyond 6th grade. I think that must have felt like a slap in the face. You took me this far, away from my family, my community, and then you leave me here. So my dad went to work. He cut wood, he drove trucks, he became a leader, he went back to school, he earned a certificate at St. Francis Xavier in Nova Scotia. He went to university eventually, he got a BA. He served several terms as Grand Chief of Treaty 3, He participated in dialogues with physicists about Anishinaabe cosmology with his friend and former HUNAP director, Dr. Leroy Littlebear. My dad would eventually teach at universities. He taught Anishinaabe-Moin, the philosophy, the psychology, and the language of our people at the University of Winnipeg and at the University of Minnesota. His lectures spawned many theses, many dissertations, and countless careers. He was given an honorary doctorate from the University of Winnipeg in 2011, and come to think of it, his graduation was 10 years ago. Tabasanaqut was an intellectual, a deep, profound thinker, and an educator to the very end. This education took place in ceremony, at Sundance, around the dinner table, and in universities. He taught his last university seminar in early December 2012 and died 2 weeks later. Like many of you who have been through Harvard, who have studied with its storied professors, who have debated and fought with the most pretentious of them, the smartest person you have ever known is someone back home, an elder, a knowledge keeper, a survivor. For me, my father, Tabasanaqut Kinew, remains the touchstone of what an intellectual is, the smartest person I've ever known. We know what our elders have taught us, what they accomplished, how they love us, support us, who they are. We know what they have done with fewer opportunities. What could my dad have accomplished with what he fought so hard for me to have? I tremble trying to comprehend it. Some of you might be feeling what I felt 9 years ago under that pressure. I'm not ready yet. I'm not worthy. I don't know what I'm doing here, and I don't know what happens next. So I'm here to disabuse you of that notion. You will never feel ready, and you may never feel that you belong. And yet the world cannot wait for what you are bringing. What you graduates have done is nothing short of incredible. Education was historically a tool of colonization, of assimilation and genocide, killing the Indian and the child. Some of you, like me, are descended from survivors of Indian boarding schools, and perhaps your parents and your grandparents, who are survivors, are sitting next to you tonight. And let me pause here to say to them, Kichi Miigwech, thank you for supporting your children and grandchildren through their educations. This could not have been easy. You graduates, with the help of your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, everyone who came before you, you have transformed what education is and what it can be. And as a result of this year, many of you have studied at Harvard from your home communities. This is profound. You didn't need to leave. No one took away who you were to get an education. You've brought Harvard home. And you may never feel ready, but you have all the good qualities, the brilliance, the spirituality, the love of your people. You're strong, you're beautiful, you're loved, you're Indigenous. And now you're a Harvard graduate. Congratulations, class of 2021.